Hi, welcome everyone to our Mastering Magnetism Masterclass. Whoa.
Whoa, it's a lot of mastering.
It's going down right now. And welcome to everyone who's joining us live from all over the world. We have such an incredible tribe assembled for this activation, this experience. It is already feeling so potent, and I'm so honored to be here with you and to just be following this flow of really divine inspiration and super, just like full flow inspiration. I know flowing through both Kevin and I, answering this call to bring to light some of the most like shameful, traumatic, dense, heavy, yucky energy, ideas, narratives, identities, all that stuff that we're all just ready to we're all ready to transcend. We're all ready to be free of. And it's time. It is time to just like begin a totally new paradigm of complete freedom, complete power, purpose, abundance, radical sexual expression. I mean, all of the above, full aliveness. So that's why we're here today. We're here to be fully in our aliveness, fully in our radiant power, fully in our authentic truth, fully expressed, fully embodied as the divine, beautiful, multidimensional beings that we are. Yes.
Come on now. Come on. This is about mastery and magnetism for me. Like, these are the three energy types, energy signatures that we get to unlock in 2018 right now on this webinar and in our lives to call in more pleasure, more prosperity, more purpose in our lives, attracting the opportunities, the people, the relationships, the tribe, and doing it without the old programs. Yeah. We all know, because we've all grown up in this world, how much programming and layering goes on to sexuality, power and influence, and money and energetics. We all know that. So this is the new story. This is the new paradigm. I'm so excited to be here with you, Sydney, and all these beautiful people. Yeah, let's flow, fam. This is it. This is the real energy.
And we all know that these, for those of you that have joined us in our other live streams, we've touched kind of like the surface of, what we all feel and intuit to be true, which is that these energies of money, sex, and power are really one and the same, and they're really like deeply connected. So we're here today to go even deeper into that and to illuminate the ways in which these energies are intrinsically linked and the ways in which we can really, I would say, transcend this survival energy, this energy of like repression, survival, competition, fear, to be fully in the embodiment of this like freedom, liberation, like full power, connection, all the things that we truly want. And so we're going to take you through an experience. We're going to take you through a mind, body, spirit, soul experience, because none of this stuff is something that we're going to figure out intellectually. We'll have a little bit of that, which is fun. We all love telling stories and relating and all that good stuff. And we got some stories to tell. But at the end of the day, we all know that this is an energy game, and the energy is in our body, is in the circuit that we allow to flow, right, fully and freely, so that we are radiating our natural state of being, which is magnetism. And so we're going to take you through, first and foremost, we're going to start with a practice. We're going to get into some sharing. We're going to go through some limiting belief shadow excavation to help you get clear on what are your limiting beliefs? What are your shadows? What are the things that you're really wanting to transcend? What are the things that are maybe unconsciously presenting themselves as repression, as drains in your life? And, first step being awareness, right? And then we're going to give you some very specific, super powerful, super activating tools, practices, I would say embodiment experiences that you can literally take with you right now and start creating insane, incredible changes in your life. And then at the end, we have a very special invitation for you that I just cannot wait to get into.
I'm buzzing. I feel all energy already. Welcome, everybody. As people are joining us, I really invite you to have a journal or have a piece of paper, something to write down. This is stuff that's very personalized. We're going to be sharing from our direct experience, because Sydney and I have been on many journeys that we can share the gold from those heroes' journeys, but for you, especially with the limiting beliefs, the shadow and the activation, it's personal to you. So I would invite everyone now to have their journal, have a piece of paper ready, and also like getting clear on your intention for joining us on this call. What is your intention for being here? Is it specifically around one of these three energy types? Is it specifically to create something? Is it to let something go? Those are two things I want to keep in mind. And then I think, Sydney, we're going to go you're going to embody us with some breath activation.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
we just got to get in the body, you know, welcome to this new reality, this new paradigm, this new way of being in which we really operate from our heart, which we really operate from our like power centers, which are like in our body and our good feelings. And I'm going to take you through an energy activation right now, which is something I invite you going forward to practice every day, as many times a day as you need to feel like fully in your vibration, fully in your power, fully connected to this infinite source that you are. So I'll invite everyone in this moment to get a really nice, comfortable seat. And you can even do this standing up, whatever feels most powerful for you to receive over the next few minutes. We're going to do this for about, 8 minutes or so. And it's going to be a visualization. It's going to feel very, very powerful. You might want to just tune in with what feels most supportive for you in this moment. Do you want to be seated with your feet on the ground? Do you want to be standing up in a powerful pose where you can really feel this full line of energy moving through you? And go ahead and join me by closing your eyes if you aren't already. And start by taking the deepest breath that you've taken in all day long. Picturing breathing in earth energy through the soles of your feet all the way to the crown of your head. Really deeply, deeply breathing. Intentionally seeking to breathe into the lower energy centers in your diaphragm, deep in your abdomen. Taking 3 deep breaths and practicing holding and retaining your breath at the top of your inhale, feeling what it feels like to be full. And on the exhale, just letting everything go, recycling, transmuting any stagnant heaviness, tension, tightness, anything that is no longer yours to carry in this moment, anything you do not need in this moment to be fully present, open, and receptive. Feeling what it feels like to be you right now in this moment. Maybe slowing down for the first time all day. And after you've taken your 3 deep, clearing, expansive breaths, I want you to picture at the base of your spine, at your root chakra, a beautiful red light emanating outwards in every single direction, expanding out from your root, expanding out into your whole magnetic field, your entire aura, possibly as far out as 12 feet around you in every single direction, imagining yourself encapsulated in this vibrant red light. Just feeling what that feels like to be completely held in your own energy, feeling into this red color surrounding you and filling every single one of your cells with the most vibrant, powerful, beautiful light that there is. You can breathe into your root, really consciously sending breath to this part of you that knows you are so safe, that you are so home in your physical body, that you are grounded in your physical being, that you are exactly where you're meant to be in this moment. That in this moment you have never been more safe, more held, more supported, more complete, more whole. That you have all needs met. Feeling into that feeling of deep gratitude for simply being alive, for having a beautiful body that is taking care of you and doing its thing without you needing to tell it anything at all. A beautiful body in which your heart just beats effortlessly, in which you breathe effortlessly, in which everything is happening without you needing to control anything at all. Breathing into this deep, deep gratitude for you being this beautiful, unique signature of divinity that you are. Moving your attention up to your second energy center, your sacral chakra, imagining this beautiful orange light now emanating and spinning evenly in all directions outwards around you, filling your whole magnetic field, your entire aura with this orange, brilliant light. Breathing deeply into your abdominal center, into your sacral pleasure center, the center of your financial energy flow, your creative expression, your sexual expression, breathing into your sex organs, your pelvic floor, feeling that energy center light up with this orange energy. Feeling this beautiful orange light surrounding you in every single direction and purifying every single one of your cells in your entire physical body, clearing you of any old, stagnant, stuck energy, old beliefs, old stories, old narratives, anything you no longer need in this moment to feel fully turned on, fully alive, fully magnetic, fully in flow, in total alignment with your creative expression, in complete open receptivity when it comes to your desires, your pleasure, your good feelings, your sexual expression. Feeling into this deep pleasure that it is to simply feel your body fully alive, turned on, activated. Feeling into your senses, perhaps with a deeper awareness of the air on your skin, the temperature in the room, the taste in your mouth, the sensation of breath hitting every single one of your cells as you purify and cleanse and just create more space for you to receive the beautiful gift of life. Breathing again into this sacral center, feeling fully expansive, fully receptive, fully alive, activated. Maybe feeling a heightened sense of your own vibration, your own magnetism already amplifying, expanding, embodying more of the light that you always are. Moving your attention up to the solar plexus, this space right above your belly button. Picturing a beautiful golden, yellow, vibrant light expanding from this energy center outwards in all directions, filling your entire magnetic field with this beautiful golden light of power, of willpower, of your ability to create that which you desire, of your ability to take courageous, aligned action in alignment with your desire, creating, manifesting that which you say you want more than anything, taking responsibility, acting with incredible integrity, to show up in total truth, to be seen as the powerful, radiant being that you are, completely, authentically, divinely expressed in every moment, honoring your truth no matter what. Breathing into this space, feeling this golden light emanating through every single cell in your body, activating you to deeper expressions of power, integrity, alignment, authenticity, the knowing that you have everything you need within you right now to create whatever it is that you most desire creating and receiving. You have it all now. Allowing this energy to purify your whole energetic, emotional, physical being from any stagnation, any heaviness, anything you're holding on to that would make it difficult, or that would feel like you're in resistance to just showing up as your authentic self and showing up in your full power in all areas of your life, in all relationships, and all opportunities. Breathing into the ease with which you embody this beautiful power and radiance that you are. Allowing this energy to flow freely through your whole system. Feeling this radiant light that you cast so naturally. Feeling what it feels like to be you now. In this heightened sense of your vibration, just emanating so powerfully. This incredible frequency, this unique energetic signature that you are here to embody. There's no one else on the entire planet that is here to emanate the frequency that you are here to emanate. And how does it feel to be you in this moment? Just becoming aware of any body sensations, any physical shifts in your experience, in your temperature, the volume of energy that you feel flowing through you, just noticing it, celebrating it, taking it in, satiating this beautiful sensation of being you, fully expressed. And taking 3 more energizing breaths, this time into your heart center, and just allowing yourself to fully drop in, completely energized, fully turned on, fully awake, fully present to receive everything that is meant for you to receive in this moment, fully activated, fully alive, open for connection. We're welcoming to receive any shares of anything that you've noticed in that experience and that embodiment and that exercise, anything that came up for you, anything that you felt move, anything that you're noticing that's different, anything you want to integrate. Please feel free to share it here so we can celebrate you and receive it and Yeah, just celebrating this beautiful moment of connection. I know I feel super on fire, fully like vibrant, woo, turned on. Yes.
Whoa. Yeah, I just had a full vibrational shower of golden sparks, like
Yeah.
filling my entire body up in a good way.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
woo.
Awesome.
Whoa. Whoa. Thank you, Sydney.
Yeah.
Warmth in your heart. Thank you, Melissa. Yeah. Let's just get sensations in the chat, guys. If you have sensations, let's focus on that. Maybe not so much the story, but warmth, tingling, energy, heat, like whatever's moving. That's
color. Yeah. If you
color,
saw anything move, you know, and this is so important when we get into the body and we get into sensation and really describing our somatic experience. We're already transcending subconscious beliefs, narratives, identities. We're getting closer to the truth. We're already radiating more magnetism, more flow. We're allowing our energy to flow more powerfully, more easily.
Yes. Yes. Amy had some tears. Beautiful. Wow. Super centered. That's beautiful, y'all. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I think now I want to provide some context to what we're going to go into, because we're going to break down these 3 energy types. But what I was telling Sydney right before this, and like really the motivation and inspiration for me behind this is, you know, sex, money, and power. These are the 3 maybe most charged words in the English language, and the 3 most charged concepts, embodiments, and experiences we have as human beings, right? And the golden thread, if you will, behind them, the thing that's linking them, and that we want to go into today, and kind of doing a little bit of excavation, a little bit of the shadow, removing it, and letting the spring of the life force free. What unites all 3 of them is the life force energy itself. It's the elan vital, to use a French word. It's the kundalini shakti, to use the Sanskrit. Like, it is the life force. It's what's behind creation, creativity, and sex, where we all came from. It's what's behind money, which money is a game we're all collectively playing to move resources, attention, goods, and services around. It's an energy type. And then power is maybe the most, you know, sought after, because the other 2 can lead to it. They exchange with each other. But power, influence, attention, what we're talking about, magnetism, that magnetic feeling that you can just feel when someone has it. And what's behind that? Vital life force, a ton of life force energy in service to something. So it has a direction, it has a point to it. And, you know, in a survival paradigm, in a scarcity paradigm, these 3 sources of energy have in the past been the most controlled. Let me say that again. These 3 energies have had the most gatekeepers, the most limiting beliefs, and the most cultural indoctrination around them for good reason. This is where the money is. This is where the sex is. This is where the power's at. This is where the earth game that we've been playing has funneled a ton of attention and resources to protect and actually shut down, in the darkest cases, this energy type. And so we're here today to be walking permission slips, to activate these energy types and embody them. It's not just about like being like, oh, I got rid of my limiting beliefs. Oh, that was cool. It's like, no, we're embodying it, which thank you for that beautiful activation, because, you know, when we bring these lower 3 centers online, there's something that changes in your being. It's in your speech, it's in your tone, it's in your eye contact, it's in your business, it's in your relationships, it's in your tribe. And, you know, I know a lot of us, if you're in the New Age community, spiritual community, we live a lot up here, right? There's a lot of energy up here, and we have such great ideas and such great concepts. These 3 centers are the first 3 chakras, and we're going to go into all 3. We're going to start with the root, and we're going to start with sex first. This is that first circuit of energy, that first circuit of literal physical embodiment, security, and being in a body on the planet, and relating to other bodies. It's a very like almost animal primal center. And yeah, Sydney, I'd love for you to share your take, and then we can go into some of the limiting beliefs.
Yeah, I'm so glad we're starting off with this. You know, sex, I would say, carries the most shame of everything. And shame meaning, you know, we'll talk about some of the different shadows. Shame tends to be the root of like all shadows, right? Which really amounts to, you know, shame translates to I am bad. I'm bad. That's what it means. Guilt means I did something bad, right? These are like core wounds that we're all feeling at some level, like a trauma, you know, trauma that's then resulted in a shame that we carry, that, as we've mentioned, shame is the lowest frequency vibration that we could carry in our physical body, that is the biggest hindrance to our natural radiance, our natural magnetism, is literally like, you know, dampening our presence, dampening our power, and is so often just unconsciously held, and is something that, you know, I'll speak to my experience growing up in America. It's something that we are so indoctrinated with. And we could talk about the religious context as well, in which I would say sex is completely the most commonplace control mechanism that we can see in, you know, our known human history, especially, right? In our known human history, it's like sex is the control mechanism that has been used to repress entire populations, you know, has been used to indoctrinate entire religious ideologies, has literally just been at its essence a weapon, I would say, of control and of repression and of victimization. And we see this manifest in so many unconscious, you know, abusive behaviors, not only systemically through, you know, so many of our patriarchal institutions, our education system, et cetera. I mean, that's like, this is a big topic, but we see it. We can all take responsibility for how we see this repression of our divine innocence, which is our sexual life force, which is the fact that we were born through sex. It is the most sacred act of all creation to create. Literally, it's a miracle. It's a sacred act that has been desecrated, has been controlled, has been repressed, has been, you know, made to have all this shame around it, because it really is, at the end of the day, the source of our greatest power. The power to create something out of nothing, the power to really embody our divinity, to be God, to create another life, right? So I just want to bring it there, that this is the source of our power for men and women, to create, like, with this energy that you have within you, to create something out of nothing, just with sheer energy. And look at all the ways this has been desecrated. And I know in my life, I had a lot of, I'll share, you know, my experiences. I've been a very, very sexual being my entire life. And I even say that, like, knowing that there's all sorts of different projections around that. Like, what does that mean? And I just mean fully energized, fully joyful, ecstatic, turned on. Like, I came into this life, into this body, like really high energy. I'm surprised I was never diagnosed with like ADD or, you know, slapped on medication. Thank God. Because that's also very real and alive right now in our collective consciousness. Adults are afraid of powerful, energized, ecstatic, joyful, brilliant, genius children, right? And that energy, that life force, it's just life force. There's not a distinction between sexuality and like your aliveness, your life force. I want to like really invite us into that new paradigm. They're not distinct. We can cast a shame on feeling sexual or feeling sexualized, like it's dirty, like it's bad, like it's something to be ashamed of, like it's something I have to go hide, you know. And there's not a distinction. It's like the things that excite you about life, that turn you on about life, are keys to you aligning with your purpose, with your divine mission, with your creativity, you know. And so for me, it's like I was this super energized, excited, alive, like fully blissed out, super psychic kid. And I was really curious about like being in a body. Oh my God, I'm in a body. This feels cool. And I started exploring my body really young. And I found out later on, as I started talking about it more with people, that, you know, most people start exploring their body when they're like 4, 5, 6. And it's not with the intention to go masturbate or go like be all sexual. It's just like, I'm exploring my body because it feels good. I'm listening to my desire. I'm following my truth. I'm just doing what feels good, because in a human body, aren't I here to feel good and listen? You know, and then all the family conditioning or religious societal conditioning can come in and say, oh, that's not okay. That's not right. Go do that in private. Or you make a parent uncomfortable. A parent energetically feels uncomfortable at seeing their child, you know, free, feeling fully expressed in their desire, especially if the parent has repressed shame around their sexuality or was abused, traumatized. They're then projecting that onto the kid. That's wrong. You know, exploring pleasure is wrong. That's not okay. I didn't have that, so you can't have that. That's a lot of the unconscious communication that can happen and then results in this repression. So that happened to me. I was like, oh, this is making people uncomfortable. Okay. And that manifested also as telling the truth and calling people out on things that I was like, you're lying. That's not true. You just said that. Having adults tell me, don't say that, don't talk back, don't, and then energetically feeling like this is dangerous. The people I rely on to survive are threatened by me when I'm myself, when I'm telling my truth, when I'm listening. Let me shut that down, shut that down, shut that down. For many years, disconnected. And then, you know, long story short, you know, that ended in addiction for 10 years, turn off the feelings, turn off the truth, turn off the desire. And also some really like self-imposed trauma, like expressing my sexual desire, expressing my priestess, healer energy in a very, you know, like shameful kind of hidden way. Like I didn't feel like I could be who I really wanted to be, fully embodied, fully integrated. I had to go like keep it over here, compartmentalized, like hiding, you know, which manifested as like stripping and escorting and stuff like that, but in hiding and not in an empowered way, in a very like shameful way. And so that's just a little bit of my experience and the background. And for those of you that maybe resonate with some of those feelings, please share and please, you know, contribute here of like what comes up for you as I share that, because some of the specifics may not resonate, may not relate, but the feelings of repressing your natural desire to follow your good feelings, to give yourself what you need, to take care of yourself, to just feel good in your body. We have this beautiful body that's designed to like be a vehicle for pleasure, to feel good, you know, and then how often are we conditioned to distrust that, you know, or learn that our pleasure, our feeling good, our radiant light makes other people uncomfortable, you know, and then we live in that paradigm of comparison, separation, competition, and it's very confusing because we're inherently disconnected from ourselves. And isn't that what we're here to transcend now?
That's it. We get to do it now. And we're starting with sex and the root chakra because this is the pillar. This is the foundation upon which everything else can come. Money, abundance, power, all that stuff comes later. This is about the physical body. And, you know, Sydney, thank you so much for sharing. I know your story there's so much there. I want to share a little bit of my story about, you know, shame in my body because I grew up Catholic in Texas. And being super intellectual, also as a boy, you know, exploring myself, being like, oh, wow, this feels good. Like I'm in a body. And then instantly the religious kind of projection. And this isn't just in Catholicism. Any of the big three religions, most mainstream religions have some kind of sanction against sexuality, if not a ton. Because, well, we don't have to get into so much of the because, but let's just say it's beneficial to them to shut down life force and pleasure to a certain degree, lesser or greater. And so for me, how it manifested was celibacy. I went all in on celibacy. Although I was dating and finding all the shortcuts, you know, in high school, in college, I was so fixated and so afraid of going to hell and suffering for having sex, for, you know, going all the way with my girlfriend. This was terrifying me. And in the same way, how did it express? It expressed in addiction. It expressed in pornography. It expressed in like hiding that part of myself, which, like you, Sydney, I grew up like a super sexual being, super creative. Like I had all this energy and I pushed a lot of it up into my head, into my mind, so I could explain myself. I could learn the doctrine and hide away. And, you know, I wondered why my physical body, which felt so good, was not okay in the eyes of God, right? And this was like a deep imprint I took. And the shadow of that was a lot of loss, losing lovers, losing my own creative expression. Because this is something really important to understand about sexual energy. Like you said, Sydney, it's not different than creative energy. So your favorite musician, your favorite artist, painter, your favorite athlete, your most magnetic businessman or woman, or that person on stage, or, you know, all the people we idolize in culture, that is strong sexual energy. In the mainstream, most of the time, it's more on the dark side. But anyone you meet that you would say is highly creative, where do you think that creative energy is coming from? It's coming from this circuit of like being alive in your body and channeling the primal energy that's rooted in survival, right? Because in these beautiful bodies we have the urge to procreate, to continue the species. I mean, this is mechanical biological stuff, but it's also energetic, you know, deep worth and value stuff, because it's our identity gets tied up to it. So I want to go into the limiting beliefs and shadows that are common. And this is a good time, if you're watching, you know, share it, what's coming up in the chat, but also if you have your journal, this is a good time to go into this process with us and find out which of these resonate with you. A lot of these resonated with me, and I'll just go through them, and then Sydney, I'd love to hear your take. So these are some of the shadows of sex that come up, right? We already talked about religious conditioning. So religion says a lot of the time there's shame. You should feel guilty for masturbating, for having sex, for expressing your body. You know, this is a big one that a lot of us take on. The shame around the body itself, you know, and I'm just going to speak freely here. My body's not okay. I'm ashamed of my body. You know, the body's a sacred temple of God. Don't desecrate it with pleasure. These are some of the beliefs and limiting ideas. Repressing them to the hidden, the dark, hiding it. Don't tell anyone. Don't show anyone. Do it in secret. And so some other limiting beliefs: sex is dirty. Your body's dirty. Sex is something you have to hide. It's inherently bad. It's not safe. Sex isn't safe. It's not safe. You might get pregnant. You might get a disease. You might go to hell. You know, it's not safe. You can't be alone in your body. If you're alone, you know, like really check in with yourself. Don't touch yourself. Don't have those thoughts, right? This is turning your energy against yourself. Shameful. Your pleasure is shameful. Your innate bodily pleasure is not okay. It makes you uncomfortable. It's gross. Don't share that with your family. Don't share that with your leaders. It's gross, you know. I'm bad and guilty. After I orgasm or after I have sexual pleasure, I did something bad. I feel guilty. What do I do now?
Yeah.
So these are, I'm embodying some of the shadows here because these are some of the limiting beliefs that come up. And I'm curious for anyone here, you know, which one of these is the strongest for you? And Sydney, I don't know if there's any I missed around sex.
I think there's infinite, you know, there's infinite, like more, but there's so many layers here. And what I love about everything, I think you nailed it. That's super comprehensive. And you can see how so many of the beliefs that you just isolated have everything to do with power. You know, like intrinsically, it's like all related to this fear of being fully embodied, fully present, fully powerful, fully alive, fully turned on, fully expressed, you know. And so I love it. I agree with everything you shared, and really that shame, the shame piece of like, I have to hide this or I can't be seen. I'm always interested in looking at how, you know, we're unconsciously at any time giving our power away to caring about how my experience, my life, my body affects you, you know, and how I'm giving my power away to what I think other people need before my own needs are met, or how, you know, my worth, my value, my aliveness is defined in relationship to what I think you think about me. You know, I know that's a lot of what we're also implying here in this masterclass invitation here, and like fully becoming empowered in these energy centers, fully embodied, is about detaching from people pleasing, detaching from these ancient coping mechanisms and survival skills in which you have learned to become disconnected from yourself as a way to survive in your family and society, to give other people what they want, to be totally disconnected from your needs, to not honor yourself at all, to not know who you are because you've been spending your whole life being a chameleon, trying to play a part for every single person in your life so that maybe you can fit in enough to feel like you're enough, to feel like you're lovable, worthy, successful, whatever it is, instead of honoring in this moment how you are complete, whole and complete now. And just, you know, we're giving an invitation here to step into that paradigm in which you're whole and complete now, and your energy, you feel it in your vibration, is whole and complete, totally contained. There's nothing outside of you needed to complete you. You know, you are it now. So this is also what we're alluding to in this transmutation. You know, someone asked me earlier about what does transmutation mean? You know, what's the intention here? Like, I focus on the shadow, I want to transmute it. This is not an intellectual process. There's a piece to the intellect, which we're going into now, sharing the beliefs, but this is an embodiment. And this is what I think a lot of teachers, a lot of programs, a lot of master classes miss. Like, this is not something that we're going to deprogram just through playing in the mind. You know, we're integrating all the pieces, all the parts of your entire being. We're helping clear this energy at a deep, deep level that you may not even be aware of happening intellectually. You know, so keep in mind, as we're even sharing, the words that are being spoken are an energy activation, and there are clearings happening in your physical being, like occurring now, just because of your intention to be here in this space. That's what happens when we're in this field together.
Yes.
So let's move up to money. What do you say?
Let's move up to money. And just for you, so y'all know, we're going to get to like tactical activations for each of these. We just want to lay out the shadow and the energy types first. So that was root, that color red, the sexual primal nature, the animal nature that we all share. We're divine and animal. But yeah, let's move on to money and the sacral. So this is where we get into flow. We move up into that really nice orange color, Svadhisthana. Just a fun little tidbit here. In Sanskrit means in her own abode in Sanskrit, which who is she? Well, it's the Kundalini, the life force energy herself, the serpent in the yoga tradition that we talk about as rising up the spine. So this is like that energetic center of sensuality, relating, creativity, and flow with life. And whereas the root chakra can be very yang, right? It's very like, boom, like I have a body, like I'm an animal. Like the sacral is actually very yin. It's very sensual, and it's actually water element. And this is where money comes in, right? It's like, yo, you got cash flow? Where's your cash flow at? Where's that money at? You know, we flow money. Like money is all about energetic flow and frequency. And this is the kind of, I want to frame it in this way. Money really is an energetic that governs a lot of life. Unless you're living on an island somewhere in a permaculture farm and you can just eat mangoes off the tree, you're dealing with money. And in survival consciousness that a lot of us took an imprint on, unless you were the son of the Rockefellers, but even then you probably took an even heavier imprint, right?
They still got issues.
They got mega issues, but you know, this idea that there's not enough to go around, and the abundance mindset is seen as like, oh, that's like too much. Like you're too much. Like we got to pay bills, you know, we can't travel. We have to pay bills. You know, there's not enough money to go around. What's funny is like the secret and law of attraction, all these things, like how we show up to our finances says a lot about how you show up to all of life and your energy. So check this out. Money, if it's just energy, like those dollar bills, they're not even real. You can't build a house out of them. You can't eat them. You can't make love to a dollar bill. It's a symbol and representation for life force energy. So we're still dealing with the same energy here, just like sexuality. Money is a symbol and a marker for your flow with life. You hear a lot about abundance and this sacral area, right? It's like below the belly button. It's in this sacral pelvic bowl, you know. This still is, we're still linked to sexual energy. This is all, none of this is like separate. But when we get to money, you know, the sexual one is very deep. There's a lot of shame. There's a lot of guilt. The money limiting beliefs, ooh, whoa. I've felt these in my life. There's a lot there about guilt. There's a lot there about being rich and like, if is that wrong? You know, I'll just share a little bit of my story, and then Sydney, I want you to share some of your money story. You know, what was funny is I grew up in Texas to a middle-class family, but despite, you know, years later realizing that how much abundance we actually had, like mega abundance, you know, for where we were humbly. But I noticed my parents, and I noticed my relatives, and I noticed other parents at school, like they would shrink when money came around. It's like, well, that bill payment came in, that mortgage payment came in. Oh, okay. Oh, it's like it hurt for them to spend more money. And then I was like, hey, why don't we go on a vacation? Or like, what if we bought something nice for ourselves, like an exercise bike, or like, you know, and it's like, oh, you know, we can't afford that. Like the mental programs that I took in around money were brutal. I started to think, well, money must be something bad. Like a 7-year-old boy, I was like, money must be a bad thing, because every time the adults talk about it, they get into fear and their physiology contracts. And then this like built up into high school where like, I was like, to break the scarcity, I'm just going to make a ton of money. And I wanted to be a lawyer. That's what's funny. I was like, okay, I hate math.
You and me both. Wow.
Yeah. The twinhood is real, Sydney. Yeah. I was like, I'm good at language. I love to debate. I love English. Okay, I'll be a lawyer. I'll make 6 figures, and I'll show mom and dad, and I'll show my relatives that I can make a lot of money, and I'll take care of everyone. And then I took all that in on the opposite spectrum. Like, okay, let me just grind. Let me just use my mind. Oh, like mental. And notice, like, I was up here. I wasn't even embodied in my sacral. I had no understanding that how I show up to my sexuality, how I show up to the energy in my pelvis and my feet and my body is actually how I'm relating to money. It was a lot of mental stories and agreements, mental protection and mental provision. These are very potent concepts especially in the West. You know, if you go to Thailand or India, they have different money imprints. But if you grew up in the Western, you know, world, especially the United States, and I grew up in Texas, where there's big oil. We got Texas tea and black gold, folks. You know, come on. Like, it's very money oriented. And man, I didn't understand that spending money is just as important as receiving money.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that, but I want to hear some of your money imprints.
Keep it in the flow. I hear you. And I love what you just illustrated such a dynamic. Implicit in what you said is like this idea that you have to grow up, and it's like, I have to be the thing that's in justification or in response or in disapproval to like what my parents expect, or what instead of choosing what it is that you love, listening to your desire, what feels good to you. It's like, no, I created this whole identity, this whole story in reactivity to something my parents projected, you know, or to save them or to validate them. I mean, so much on the unconscious level going on there, and then it manifests years later, right? Like, what's my purpose? How do I live in alignment with my purpose? I'm unfulfilled. How do I have more meaning in my life? How many people on the planet right now are in that zone right now, wondering, how do I live a more meaningful life? How do I feel more fulfilled? I'm just waking up every day. It's like Groundhog Day. I have no idea what I want to do. I have no idea what my passion is. I just met 2 people within 2 hours yesterday, one on the plane, one in the car, traveling. Same story. It was like a perfect mirror. It was like, wow. And I'm very rarely around that, right? So it was really humbling. They were asking me like, but how? How are you just traveling? How are you just doing, like, how are you doing this? They had no idea. They really didn't get it. It didn't compute. And it was a good reality check for me. I was like, okay, wow. Yeah, this is what's happening right now. Money has been one of the biggest wounds of my entire life. And it has absolutely been connected to my sexuality again and again. And I see someone asking about sex work. So I alluded to, let's see where I want to take this. I'll just be very present with you about where I am on my journey, because this is what I help people with, us, exclusively women, I would say, with this unique wound, but to all light workers. You energetically at some point in your life have felt that there is a huge desecration of the things that you know in your soul to be sacred. Money, sex, liberation, divinity, authentic connection, intimacy, all ways of saying the same thing. Oneness, unity, presence, love, right? It's like, we all know why we're here. We all know that we're here to be in heaven on earth. First in our own being, in our own soul, and together creating an incredible world, the more beautiful world our hearts know is possible, right? Like, you know that you're here for that, and you know that you're here to create it. And so you may have felt at certain points in your life that something's wrong with me because I'm not getting this insane system. Like, this doesn't make sense. Why is everyone unhappy? Why is this so hard? Well, wait, money is a sacred energy through which I can create whatever I want. It's just a manifestation of how much love I'm willing to share in service to my gifts. It's just a tool that I use to materially manifest that which I'm imagining and desiring in my soul to bring forth. Like, it's not all of this oppression, control, desecration that we see running rampant around the world, right? And so there's all of these unconscious beliefs that can occur, especially in visionaries and light workers and leaders that want to create new earth paradigms, new ways of being, new abundance, new embodiment, all the freedom that we really desire. It's like, you can feel like, oh, I don't want to, at a subconscious level, you may think like, I want to be wealthy. I want to create philanthropy. I want to contribute. This is always my thing too. I've always been passionate about social justice and activism and equality. And I wanted to be a lawyer and be in the system and change politics and make a shit ton of money to contribute, to make a powerful contribution, to organize, to like create foundations. I still want to do all of that. I am doing that, you know, but for a long time in my life, there was an unconscious energy of intellectually saying I wanted wealth, wanted abundance, wanted success, but unconsciously, which is running 90% of my actual reality, my unconscious beliefs and energy, unconsciously had a deep belief that money is bad, that the people that are rich are ruining the planet, that the people that have abundance, that are wealthy, are evil, that they're destroying the world. They're killing all of us. They're killing the planet. I don't want to be a part of that. So intellectually, I can think one thing and I want to be successful. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to do all this stuff. And then 90% of my energy is actually saying, I don't want any part of that. I want no part in perpetuating that desecrated, violent system. No. And then it would manifest, you know, in my part of my addiction when I was involved in different sex work. There was an interesting connection that came up there in between, you know, sharing my gifts as a sexual healer. All of this was also unconscious and kind of repressed. energy wanting to be expressed in a hidden, shameful way at the time. But this is something that a lot of women experience, is this feeling of wanting to be supported and wanting to be, like almost have like a patron, wanting to be, like effectively wanting to be supported for just being in your natural light and your radiance, for sharing your healing presence, for sharing your natural healing gifts, and yet in our society, that was the way that I found, the closest way I found that I was able to express that. And now what I understand to be the more empowered sense of what I'm kind of alluding to, this wounding of like the desecration of the money system and transcending all of that, it all comes back to the body, to all of what we're talking about, to being so radically in tune with my desire, being so integrated and embodied in my gifts, like being embodied in my sexuality, my sensuality, and my creative life force, speaking the truth, being authentic, being courageous and asking for what I want, being open to pushing the edges of consciousness as it pertains to receiving. Oh my God, so much about being in the flow of money is learning how to receive, learning how to really like ask for what you want and then be open to actually receiving it in whatever form it may come. And surrendering, I would say, control to how you think the abundance is supposed to come to you. Like that's a big thing that used to be in my way all the time. It has to look like this. I want to be in control. I don't trust life. I don't trust the universe. I don't trust God. I don't trust myself. So let me just get like really focused on controlling what I think the perfect outcome needs to be so that I feel safe and knowing that I'm going to survive. Again, all in the survival paradigm, right? So I'm not sure I answered the specific question about the sex work. I think that's a whole separate conversation that involves a deep programming around like Mary Magdalene, Christ consciousness, the ancient sexual priestesses, and when in fact we did live in a time, and this is actually a collective consciousness memory, similarly to the witch wound, which I've alluded to, where people can unconsciously feel very afraid of being in your full power because at a time people were killed for being powerful, for being mystical, for speaking their truth, for being different, for disrupting the status quo, for being revolutionary. So same thing around sexuality. It's like you may have a remembrance of a time when we were free, we were liberated, we were sexually free, and many women were just priestesses and were able to help men transmute the violence, the stress, the negativity, the density of going to war, going to battle, being in the masculine, being in strength and power. And they would engage in sacred sexual healing. Sexual energy is the most healing, powerful energy of all, through which we can literally transmute all disease in the body through the act of intentional, conscious sexual energy exchange. And this is sex magic, which we'll get into, we're getting there. But this is like ancient wisdom that has been repressed because it is the seed of our most infinite embodied power and divinity. It is like, in fact, how we are able to create literally anything out of nothing. And this ancient dynamic of like women, and we can talk about Mary Magdalene's like one of my main spirit guides, and we can talk about her whole path and the whole rise of Jesus through sex magic, and that's a whole other thing that I love to go into. But it's like, in essence, we all know that we have this power. We all know that we have it. We all know at some level that we're here to fully express and embody it and go into that like expansion again and again of like what is possible when our Kundalini is fully awakened, and when we share that in divine union within ourselves or with another. And we literally experience the instantaneous manifestation of our wildest dreams again and again. And the healing, the radical healing. This is why for so many, so much of the issues going on in our world right now, we can see how it's like repressed energy in the masculine, the wounded masculine, not being allowed to receive the healing of the feminine, or receiving this like free flow of energy exchange, the transmutation, the alchemy of sexual healing. So much of the issues that we have now were like avoided for a long time when men were freely allowed to go and receive healing, and then show up in their family as present, as healthy, as happy, because they weren't carrying so much unconscious material or burden or repression or anger, whatever it was, So this is, I didn't know we were going to take it there, but we just took it there because this is it. This is a big part of what I find is like really weighing heavily on the collective consciousness, and that we're all curious about embodying, exploring, experiencing, sharing. How do we create the invitation to do what we know we're here to do and create more, connection and exploration of like, what is our sexual energy when used and expressed in a really healthy, integrous, healing way. So that's part of what we're initiating here in this conversation for sure.
Totally. And that like whole topic you just got into, I mean, thank you so much for asking that question, because these are very linked, sex and money, very linked together, very core wounds, very charged. And as you're saying all this, Sydney, like what was coming through for me is like when this circuit's online and you start to unlayer some of the beliefs and the shame and guilt that's been placed there, and also the collective ancestral wounding, this is where the money starts to come in.
Yeah.
You're living your divine life purpose. There's no reason you shouldn't have abundance. In fact, it's the natural way. If we want to look at money as like fruit, this is a great metaphor I love to look at a great oak tree or a great apple tree. They're in pure abundance. They have so much abundance that they're letting fruit fall and letting anyone eat it. Some of it's even going to rot. There's so much. And this is the way of nature. And it can be the same way with your bank account. It really can. And I want to call out some of the limiting beliefs and shadows here as well, because I know although sex may carry a lot of that personal shame, money is usually a sneaky one that lurks in the unconscious, right? Well, I can't quit my job because then how would I pay my bills? You know, stuff like this comes up. So I call out a lot of these money programs, a lot of these I used to have in the past. So I'm not worthy of having money. Straight up self-worth. Straight up self-worth. Rich people are bad. Rich people are evil. This is a big one. This is a huge one that I think a lot of us still carry. Money means more problems. More money, more problems. The more money I have, the more responsibility and therefore problems I will have. Having abundance is only for smart or famous people. Only really strong, powerful, famous people are allowed to have money. It's just the natural way. So if I have wealth, if I have a lot of money, I'll isolate myself from people I want to help and be around. You know, these are more limiting beliefs. If I'm wealthy, the people I feel called to support, they won't trust me anymore because I'm rich. If I'm rich or wealthy, will my friends and tribe trust me? If I'm wealthy, will people understand? Will they be able to relate to me? If I have a lot of money, how can I relate to my family, to my tribe, to my partner? Savior and martyr complex. Notice these patterns. The savior complex with money. If I have a lot of money, then I can save someone. Or, you know, it's actually righteous to be poor. I'm struggling financially and it's righteous. You know, it's a good thing. I'm a martyr. Especially healers, teachers, guides, people in this space of doing light work and speaking truth, not playing the old paradigm, stepping into power. They can't be wealthy because then suddenly they're the oppressor or they're engaged in the wealth system that's created the fucked up need for the healing. And this one I know with people you work with, people I work with, like this is the big one. If you're a light worker, if you're a healer, a guide, a coach in this transformational space, I see it all the time. They don't ask for what they're worth. They don't value themselves. They accept free services or give away things for free and don't ask for money. This is a limiting belief that does not serve you or the world. The world needs your gifts. Abundance is yours. It's your birthright. Here, like the sexual alchemy you just called in, Sydney, is so powerful. I'm all about it. It's the same with finance. This energy is linked. It's so linked together. And so if you're watching right now in your journal, like I invite you, like write down what, it's a full moon right now too. We're bathing in full moon energy.
And it's all about body, being in the body, being in desire, Taurus. It's like so perfect. We didn't even plan that. We just did it.
You can't plan something like this. It's too good. It's too good. Like it's too much. So thank you, Belinda. Giving and receiving. This is the sacral chakra. This is the sacral energy. And you nailed it, Sydney. If you're going to ask for abundance, are you prepared to receive it? And are you going to judge what form it comes in? I'm calling in $100,000. I want to buy a property. I want to blah, 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 blah. And then the next day you meet someone who already has it, but you're like, oh, no. I need to control how it looks. So that I don't want to partner with that person. The universe answered your prayer. This is part of the practice we're going to get into. I want to move on to power now so we can keep the context going. But yeah, there's a lot here. There's a lot.
We just have so much. There's so much. I just got to say it. The universe is always answering your prayers. You are maybe not fully conscious of what it is that you're asking for, but every single thing that is happening is something that you at some level asked for. It's all, the universe is like automatically always responding to you. What kind of order are you putting out there? What kind of intention are you sending out? What kind of prayer are you sending out? What kind of unconsciousness are you sending out? Because everything in your life is instantaneous feedback to your frequency.
Yes, so true. Your prayers are already answered. It's not going to happen in the next life. It's literally instant karma. The universe balances now. And so it's probably already in your field. That's the beautiful part. That's part of this unlayering, is just recognizing it. Yeah. Are you aware of it? Yeah. And so let's move on to the third one. Let's move up into the solar plexus here, into the belly, into that diaphragm, that power center. This is where breath lives. This is where your identity and willpower lives. It's that golden sunlight shining like the sun. And so sex, money, and then power. If you have a lot of sexual energy, you get a lot of power. If you have a lot of money, you have a lot of power. You can trade these around. They are all the same life force, but they have different masks. So let's talk about power right now. Power can be seen as attention, it's influence, it's personal magnetism. So people pay attention to you. They listen to what you say. When you give orders, or when you give demands, people do them. These are a lot of the people in the hierarchy and in life right now that are in leadership roles. They've figured out the solar plexus one way or another. We're talking about doing it in a high vibrational way though, in an embodied way, in an aligned way. How to cultivate a personal aura is all about that confidence. So power and confidence are really linked together. Power and willpower. So your will, your conscious will, directly translates to power if you act upon it. And so a lot of us, in our identity, deep in our identity, in our value systems, and for me in my physical body growing up, I was afraid of power. I was afraid of being too powerful, especially with my voice. I didn't want to speak up, speak the truth, even though my body and my emotions were screaming it, because, oh no, if I'm seen as too powerful, what will happen? Will people still give me love? Will they still validate me? If I'm really powerful on the soccer field, if I'm really powerful at the line of scrimmage in football, what will happen? Will the coach notice me and make me do more work? Will the girls notice me and then suddenly give me a lot of attention? These are some of the ways that I grew up in my power and then holding it back, constantly repressing it, changing the way my voice sounded, changing the way I showed up physically, not standing up tall and opening my chest and being proud of being tall and a man. I learned a lot of ways, and many of you can relate with this, to mask my power, to be a people pleaser and a nice guy. Yeah. To be a nice guy. If I'm a nice guy, then suddenly people want to play with me. Girls want to have conversations with me. They're not intimidated. My parents, I can kind of fly under the radar because I don't have to be too outspoken. I don't want to be too powerful. I don't want to attract too much attention, just the right amount that my basic needs are fulfilled. And well, I guess I'll wait for the day. One day I'll have the power. It manifested as deep depression for me, because most of the time when we repress power, it either wants to express as anger and rage, which is like a violent way to grab power, or the anger goes inside, the power goes inside and it implodes. And that was my pathway, was a very cold implosion of aloofness and depression, which really hit me the hardest at the end of high school and college. I didn't know, I hadn't learned, I didn't have mentors at the time, how to be powerful and a man in the world, in sexual relationship, in business, commanding a room, working in an organization. I didn't know how to use my voice or my physical body because I've been playing the nice guy game for that long.
Yeah. Boom. I feel that so deeply. And what I'm getting from you as you're sharing that, what I deeply resonate with is this feeling I know so well, which is you have a calling to activate consciousness, to serve, to be a leader, to be a healer, to help people. And how are you ever going to do that if you keep pretending to be someone else? If you keep trying to please everyone? If you're afraid of making anyone uncomfortable, when you know at your soul level mission, you're here to do exactly that, to upset people's level of comfort with settling for where they're at so that they can grow, so that they can be their true self, so that they can really see what's possible. And it's like this is the stuff that's the ultimate self-sabotage, the self-abandonment, knowing that you are the only thing in your own way of having what you want, of doing what you're here to do. It's always you. You're the only one in your way. And I did that that's my life story until I was 24 years old and I finally stopped drinking and doing drugs to turn that off. And that repetitive self-abandonment, repression, depressive cycle. Depression is literally just that. You just defined it perfectly. Depression isn't an anxiety disorder. It's not all the, I mean, this is my belief in knowing that it's not all these things that we think it is. Depression is literally just a, again, we're talking about energy and flowing the natural circuit of energy that your body is meant to radiate in a magnetic field of pure manifestation, like infinite potential. And depression is literally like, you are not allowing your energy to flow and it's just trapped, and it manifests as all sorts of disease in the body, manifests as all sorts of material issues, but it's literally just as simple as depressing, repressing the energy within you that naturally wants to move.
Right.
Being in resistance to nature, to your natural authentic state of being. Of course you're going to get sick. Of course your body's going to react. Of course your body's awake to how you're not in your natural alignment, right? This is like all disease is literally just a mirror. Hello, you're not in alignment. You're not clearing this old energy. You're not letting this thing go. You're still carrying that anger. You're still carrying that idea. You're still taking care of your mom. You're still psychically caring for this person. It's like, you know, we got to listen. The body knows what's going on. Are we listening or are we up here? Let me take a pill for that. Maybe I need a medication. Maybe, I mean, you know, let's get to the root of what's really going on. So I really heard you, and I deeply resonate with that sensation of wanting to be a leader. Even early into my coaching practice, it was like playing the nice girl, wanting to be cool, and you could hear it in the intonation of my voice. This is the way these subtle energies play. It was like, and I could even look at some of my videos from even 2 years ago. It's like the voice, the intonation of like the people pleasing and an inherent questioning. You know, women, you can see this really easily with women. It's like a deep conditioning of the feminine as well, to like be in subservience to the masculine. Like men can be powerful, women can't. Women need to be victims. Women need to be saved. And then playing into that as like anything I say is like expressed as though it's a question, even though I'm not asking a question. It's expressed with an intonation of not knowing, not being powerful, not being confident, not owning my truth, questioning. Do you believe me? Do you like me? Do you get it? Does that make sense? Questioning, not fully grounded in my own energy, in my own presence, and my own knowing. Totally different voice. And frankly, it's like painful to listen to, because it's like you can just energetically feel. This is the thing that happens too that no one talks about. The subtle energy, when someone's in that intonation of not owning their power, of asking a question, of needing to be liked, of needing to please people, of needing to get value from your attention to feel like I'm enough. I see this all the time. It's repulsive. It's repulsive energy at an unconscious level. It's repulsive. When someone is unconsciously needing you to validate them because they're not feeling in their power, it's actually like, it's a repulsive, instead of magnetic, instead of drawing in, instead of attracting, it's like, get away. It's like, no, because at the soul level, you know that you can't fulfill that person's need. So it's a protection. It's like, no, I don't want that. No, that's going to be draining. I can't even do that. I can't have that. And this is happening so much, especially in business, in people's like sales conversations, in your relationships and intimacy. It's like giving your power away, and it's repulsive, pushing away the exact thing that you think you want, because you're not actually like clearly defined in your desire. You're not in your you're not magnetic. You're not allowing your energy to flow. You're not really grounded in yourself. You're like energetically seeking outside of yourself. Your energy is not contained. It's like draining, you know, and it feels exhausting. This experience is exhausting. It's like, no matter what I do, it's never enough. I'm never growing. You know, this is like something I see often in people who I support in like building business or scaling business. It's like, they're just stagnant. They can't move past a certain point because all the energy is just getting like leaked out. Instead of like, no, you got to contain it. You got to ground it, and you got to build your field, radiate that magnetic field to be able to hold more, to be able to grow. Our natural state of being is of evolution, is growth, is to hold more abundance, more power, more light. We're not like just light turned on and we stay at the same level. No, we're here to grow and expand. You're here to grow and expand. So don't get comfortable at the same level. You're here to go into new levels again and again and again. This is part of the game. New levels, new expansion, new like
upward spiral.
Yeah, upward spiral.
Upward spiral.
So there's so many there's so much more I wanna say to this, and I think we went into the limiting beliefs around power, right?
Totally.
Like you nailed it, and something I just want to emphasize again, which I feel is really prevalent, is like this feeling of, if I'm powerful, if I shine my full light all the way on, if I really like am all in, if I'm fully alive, I'm going to be alone. No one's going to understand me.
Right.
No one's going to like me. I'm going to be excommunicated from the tribe. There's a whole like tribal consciousness, survival consciousness that's implicit in being powerful, right? That manifests as fitting in, not disrupting the status quo, being a nice guy, nice girl, as you said, like being subservient, playing it safe.
Right.
When your soul is here to grow, expand, radiate, and in that, it's like you actually get to, it's such a paradox. You're never alone. You're actually more connected than ever. And you attract more aligned, incredible, intimate relationships than you could have ever imagined having. And it gets better and better and better and deeper and deeper and deeper. Oh, yes.
This is paradoxical stuff, y'all. Like the magnetism and that like power, like, oh, that person's powerful. But it's like from a aligned place.
Yes.
The power over paradigm is what we're swiping left on that. We're leaving that. And that's where this comes into play. And you know, if you're watching right now, like I really invite you, like framing sex, money, and power. What is the main limiting belief that you're acting out unconsciously? And be honest with yourself. You're gonna get as much out of this as honest as you can be with this. And you know, Sydney, we should pivot now. We get to pivot now into some tactical approaches for these. And then we're gonna have a little time for Q&A, and anyone that wants to like, you know, come into the space with us and chat. So if you're having things come up, share it in the chat box. Make sure you're messaging to all panelists and attendees, by the way, because I think some people are just messaging us. You can select all attendees so you can see each other as well. Yeah. You want to start with sex, Sydney?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's start with sex. Woo! So again, as we iterated already, sex, it's not what you think it is. Consider it in this new paradigm of total embodiment, total power. Sex really is your aliveness. Sexuality is your aliveness, your full creative life force energy, your vitality, your receptivity, your pleasure, your intimacy. This is like the root of your most magnetic presence, right? And it's rooted in good feelings and being fully turned on about life. So I want to invite you into an amazing practice that I've taught before under the umbrella of Orgasmic Manifestation, which people get really excited about. And you know, why not? Why not be excited and turned on to the level of like, yes, like being able to feel in an orgasmic state about your mission, your purpose, your relationship, you know, your fulfillment of your divine assignment on this planet, you know, like your experience and how good do you feel when you wake up in the morning? You know, what's something that you deeply desire experiencing in life, even if it has nothing to do with sex, like anything. And this is how our desire is just such a powerful engine of our manifestation ability. I mean, it is the root of it. So I want to invite you into an actual embodiment practice that we could call orgasmic manifestation. And I want to invite you into a space. Literally, you can do this every single day. It's so practical. It's like the most practical tool I've ever found in my life. And it's so intrinsically healing. It's literally a way to transmute low vibrational energy out of your physical body. And again, call in, you know, people always ask about energetic boundaries and giving your energy away, especially if you're empathic and highly sensitive. This is a way to like gather in your energy, gather it in, ground yourself powerfully in your center and transmute any low vibrational energy that's not yours, that you no longer need, just as we did in the beginning. It's similar. So I'll invite you in this moment. We'll just do a few minutes. And this is something you can practice multiple times throughout your day. It's a beautiful practice. It feels so good. And you can join me in just closing your eyes briefly if they're not closed already. And take 3 deep breaths into your heart, breathing into that beautiful heart space. Breathing into your soul consciousness, your intuition, this knowing that you have within you that always knows the truth. And as you are finishing up those 3 deep breaths, the deepest breaths you've taken all day long, I want you to just envision right now a desire that feels really powerful in your life, something you want to call in. Anything at all. It could be literally anything. It could be, you know, a new state of energy that you inhabit, a new vitality, a new aliveness, a new, you know, maybe you're calling in more health and well-being in your physical body. And what does that look like? What does that feel like to be in that body that you look so hot in your bikini and your bathing suit? You just are so beautiful. You feel like your most radiant, alive self. Maybe you're calling in a new relationship. Maybe you're calling in the one. Maybe you're calling in more intimacy in your current partnership. Maybe you're calling in healing within any relationship, with your family, with friends. Maybe you're calling in a dream, soul-aligned business, or more soul alignment in the business that you currently operate within. Maybe you're calling in more intuition, more trust, more love, more abundance, a specific kind of abundance, a specific type of support to help you in activating a vision that you have. Anything at all, a specific opportunity, a creative vision you're wanting to bring to life, a painting, a song, anything at all. Your desire is fully and wholly unique to you. So just call in one in this moment, something that you feel you just deeply, deeply desire experiencing, holding, being, creating now. And just hold that vision of whatever that is for you. Can you really feel into what it's like to have that now? Can you feel into what it's like to be so turned on in terms of your aliveness, your radiance, your vitality? Can you just feel your body activate as you feel what it's like to hold whatever this experience is, like you have it now, like you're living it now, like you are it now? And I want you in this experience of envisioning your deepest desire in this moment to pull up this energy from the root of your spine, from your root chakra, pulling up the muscles of the pelvic floor, almost like you would when you're holding it in. If you have to go pee, you hold it in. Instead of letting it go, you hold that muscle in, you tighten that muscle, you pull up that energy from the root of your spine all the way to the crown of your head as you breathe in, taking the deepest breath you've taken all day long, holding that vision in your mind's eye, feeling what it feels like to have it, be there now, have it now, receive it now, activate it now, pulling that energy all the way up your spine and then holding it up at the top of your crown. Breathing in a little bit more, breathing in a little bit more, holding it in until you can't hold it any longer. And then letting everything go, making a sound and just fully allowing your vibration to emanate powerfully in every single direction around you, fully radiant, fully magnetic. And then doing that 2 more times, really giving yourself the experience of feeling what it is like to have what it is you desire now. It's happening now, you're holding it now, you're there now, you're being it, doing it now. Holding that vision in your mind's eye, being it in every single cell in your body, feeling it, and then pulling up that energy again from your root, through your sacral, through your solar plexus, through all your energy centers, tightening your pelvic floor, pulling that muscle up, pulling that energy up, pulling that energy all the way up your spine to the crown of your head, and then breathing in some more, holding it in some more, breathing in some more, until you can't breathe in any longer, holding it in and breathing in some more. And when you can't hold it any longer, letting it all go. And doing that one last time and really pulling up your pelvic floor. You should feel the muscles of your lower bandhas and the lower energy centers tightening, pulling, almost as though there's energy shooting from the root of your spine all the way up through your whole spinal cord, all the way up to the crown of your head, and just holding that energy up there, holding it up, breathing in some more, pulling that energy up even farther, holding it in more, breathing in more, picturing that desire like you have it now, like you are it now in every single cell of your body, having it, receiving it, being grateful for it. When you can't hold it any longer, letting it all go and just feeling how good that feels in your physical body to be fully alive, fully turned on, fully radiant. Oh, it feels so good. And maybe you even feel like you've already manifested whatever it is that you're calling in. Maybe you have a surprising experience shortly after you get off of this call and something's shifted in your material reality. So that's something you can literally do. You can do that for 1 minute a few times throughout your day. Tune in with, what do I desire in this moment? And start to cultivate this muscle of trusting, of listening to your intuition, which is communicating to you through good feelings, through your desire. You are a desire machine. So activate this muscle and start manifesting and start feeling what it feels like to have it already now, and playing with this energy, activating all your energy centers, activating a natural clearing of your whole physical, energetic, spiritual system so that you are just in your natural magnetic state. And it feels so good. Allow yourself to deepen into the good feelings, the pleasure of what it feels like to be you, to be in your vibration. Feels amazing, right? Feels so good.
So good. And this is like such a beautiful practice. Thank you for sharing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this one is really like the core of sex, money, and power. Is like your breath and that bandha, that like squeezing, that is so core to everything we've talked about. Is bringing this in, and you know, shifting to money. For me, the money vibration, like I was sharing in my story, you know, a practice you can do every day, because you're dealing with money every day, giving and receiving money. And the gratitude vibration, just like what we just did, manifesting that sexual root power, you can do the same with the frequency of gratitude, which lives in the heart, right? The thanks, but you bring the lower centers into it. So the practice that I use and that I call it just thanking your money, thanking your finances. And this includes everything, even the cable bill, even the parking ticket, even all of those insurance, affidavits, whatever you got to fill out and apply money to, you thank it and see it as life force energy, just like a plant would. A plant is not holding on to its fruit and freaking out. The tree is not begrudgingly offering an apple. It gives it freely in the trust that it will return to you. So I invite you, every time you either spend money, this is easy to do when we receive money, right? Like, I just closed a client. I just made $3,000. Thank you. Thank you. It's so easy to stay in gratitude there. But can you do it when you're sending money? Yeah. And when you open up your bank account, I know so many people that like, they kind of hide their energy around money, or they hide around their finances. It's like every time you open your bank account and you see the balance, every time you spend money swiping one of your credit or debit cards, every time you're handling cash, can you reframe using this technique? You can combine both. The energetic around money. Yes. You can thank it as it leaves you, and you can thank it as it comes right back. And once you've established that flow, it's said the more you give, the more you get. And in my life, I've found this to be true. The more I offer my energy, and specifically my dollars, it's like I'm voting with them. I want to spend money on the best programs, the best people, the best teachers, the best organizations and food that are aligned with life and all the topics we're talking about. They're aligned with the new paradigm. They're aligned with embodiment and truth telling. When I spend money, even if it's a lot of money, it might have scared me in the past. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I'm so grateful to offer my energy back into the flow, back into the river of life. And if you can remember to do this, and like, this is a great thing to write down on a sticky note and just have next to you when you're doing financial stuff and you have all your papers out or your computer out. Remember to do this. I promise you, you'll start to loosen that energetic around money that comes up every time you spend money, especially. So that's a grounded tactic for the money side.
I love that. I have so much more I want to give. Oh my God. Because money is like, it's so much fun to play in this space. And there's literally like the simplest little shifts that we can create. We create massive, massive changes in our material experience. And one thing I want to add to that is one of my early mentors told me to do this a long time ago, and it's so healing to change the names of your bank accounts to like a dream vision that you have, or like I change your passwords to something positive about how you like love money, or you love yourself, or you celebrate life, or just like, how are you programming your language around how you are like assigning your money, assigning value to things in which you're in an energetic exchange. It's like, change the programming, change the vibration of the types of terms that you use. Be sensitive to that. Maybe it's not your savings account or your medical account. It's like, this is my healthy, optimized, fully alive, like sexy account, or like whatever you want to call it, something that turns you on, that brings you joy, just like the sticky note. It's like, put that implicitly in everything that you're like engaging with, right? All your accounts, all your different files.
That's it. And power, for power, right, tactically, and things you can activate in your life right now. For me, the number one, like, these are all building, they're all connected, right? Because if you're orgasmically manifesting, if your bank account is called 5D activation fund, you're going to be in this zone of like changing your language and changing your physiology. That's the key, is like changing both at the same time. And for power, and I want to hear yours too, Sydney, but for power, the number one for me is breath work. Because if I don't feel powerful, for example, I'm about to do an interview, I'm about to go on a live stream, I'm about to go in front of an audience for a retreat. If I don't feel powerful, the easiest way into power is breath of fire. So it's literally in your belly, in your diaphragm. That if you just do 33, 55, 88 of those breaths, and then hold the last breath and then settle into that, your blood, your heart, your vision, your mind will transform. I promise you. And that is like, that's the most easy tactical way to activate your power. Now on the other side, if you're feeling really anxious and like jittery and like, whoa, you have a ton of energy, so you're in power, but you can't channel it, that's where square breathing comes in. Square breathing is very simple. You inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale 4 seconds, and hold out 4 seconds. And you can draw a square in your mind or with your hand while you do this. And you can change the number. I've done 3, you can do 5. The idea though is that when you do that, you'll actually bring down the anxiety energy, which anxiety is just a form of energy, by the way. Yeah. It's meant to be used. It's not meant to like make you stressed.
Yeah.
Those 2 breath techniques, and there's a ton more. Obviously, I want to like go ham and show you all the breath.
We're going to go Kundalini on you guys. We got 30,000 Kriyas.
But like literally, because the belly, the 3rd chakra, is the diaphragm, conscious breathing. And those are just 2 ways you can step into your power. And you can do this right before you walk into an office, right before you walk on stage, right before you walk into an interview, right before you walk up to your partner. If you want to be in your power, go to the breath. Done.
Oh, wow. I love it. I mean, so much comes up too. I mean, breath work, absolutely. I love to do holotropic breath work where you breathe and, you know, that's something maybe a little bit more intense, but like super powerful. I like to be pretty intense with the clearing and the, you know, activation of the, just like clearing the field with that. So that's a 3-part breath into the belly, into the heart, out through the mouth. And it's like super powerful. And I would add to that, like, you know, power pose, like putting your, you know, thumbs up, ego eradicator, get out of your head, do the breath of fire, breathing into the solar plexus, breathing into all those energy centers. Another one for me, when I used to be like, or even sometimes when I'm still like really in my head, wanting to get in my body, put your heart above your head, downward dog, put your head on the earth. Like, this is the thing, all this stuff maybe sounds like yogi, you know, it is like, yes, that's why yoga is one of the most ancient sciences, mind, body, spirit, soul sciences there is, you know, of course, right. Ancient wisdom. And yet I know for the people that are like in their mind, they're like, but give me the intellectual, you know, thing that I want to figure out and like strategize and systematize and spreadsheet. And what we're talking about here is helping you get to the root of what it is that you really want. And it has to happen physiologically. And we're talking about aligning your body to serve your mind, to aligning your energy to serve your soul. Again, like so much of what we're going into is not something that's going to entertain like the intellect or the ego or a problem to be solved or something like that. It's like, no, we're changing your energy. We're alchemizing your physiology. We're dropping out of the reactive survival, sympathetic nervous system, which creates all disease, all stress, all of these like lower vibrational experiences. And we're dropping into deep rest, parasympathetic rest, restoration, rejuvenation, calm, ease, natural receptivity, natural flow of energy, right? Like that's where we want to take you, because that's your natural state of being. And when you're in that natural state of being, so many of the questions of money story, scarcity consciousness, victim, it's very irrelevant because you're just you and you're at peace. That's what we want to invite you into. So there's just so much more. There's so much more that we could share. There's just
literally so much.
It's amazing. So I would like to see. We went into the quantum space here. Wow, we sure did. I think we have. Do we want to invite, if one person feels really courageous about coming in and sharing? Do we want to invite one soul?
If someone wants to be on video with us and share what's come up for them, positive or negative, and go into a little experience, you know, we'd love if you speak up now in the chat. Is there anyone that's feeling that? It looks like we still have 23 people with us. Thank you all for being here. Wow. Thank you all. Somebody feeling it?
Yeah. And if not, then I think we can get into our very inspired, exciting invitation. All of you can understand that we just were like scratching the surface of so much of our own experience, our own wisdom, our own practices, all the stuff that we teach, all the stuff that we've used to activate money, sex, and power in our lives, to live in alignment, to embody our divinity, all the goodness. And we feel so called to share all of it with you in a really formal, super activated, highly energized, intentional container. And so our inspired invitation for you is to go on a journey with us for 4 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah, for 4 weeks in literally going into so much of what we just scratched the surface of, right? And literally you felt in this experience an energetic container activated in which you've already felt, you know, up level to a new consciousness, a new vibration, a new possibility. And we want to take you like all the way home to yourself.
Yes.
And so we are inviting you to join us for a 4-week journey, of course, appropriately called Mastering Magnetism, Money, Sex, Power. And very similar to this experience, the 4-week journey, which starts November 5th, will involve 4 Zoom calls just like this, 90-minute downloads where we're going to be teaching and we're going to be really like deeply supporting you with more one-on-one coaching, with more, you know, guidance in the moment to what it is that you're experiencing, to what's coming up for you, and deliverance of like all the tactical, practical activations, embodiment practices, guidance, energetic alignments, all of it. Like we're giving it all because it needs, like, I don't know where else any of this stuff exists. Like we created this because
Never heard of it.
this is the thing that I needed like 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Like I need this. So we are in service first and foremost to ourselves, like creating the thing that we ourselves needed. And we want to invite you into this intimate space to join us. So we have 4 calls just like this, and then we're held in a very intimate online portal container where we can interact in between calls. We'll be giving you assignments. We'll be giving you invitations to activate new levels of consciousness and healing in your life, being an invitation for more infinite possibility in your life with all your relationships. I mean, so powerful. And if you join us today, if you commit with us today to go on this journey, Kevin and I are really excited to offer you a really special opportunity to do a coaching session with either of us. You get to choose who you'd like to connect with for a 20-minute laser coaching call if you enroll with us today. And that can be used over the whole course of our 4-week program, which again starts on November 5th. So that's our inspired invitation. And we are just calling in the most activated, beautiful group of visionaries who are really ready to go into this journey, this work with us, to be an invitation of what it is like to be fully free, to be fully authentic, to be fully embodied, to rise as the leader that you are, to radiate your full power, your full magnificence.
Yes, this is it, y'all. And as you could see on this call, like we don't even have enough time to go into all this stuff.
Yeah.
There is so much in each one of these topics. And so that's what's really beautiful about this program and this experience is like week 1, we'll go all in on sex. Week 2, we're all in on money. Week 3, we're all in on power. And then week 4 is like the integration and the amalgamation of all this juiciness.
Yeah.
And, you know, I really want to invite you, if any one of these areas is a pain point in your life, and for most of us, it's all 3. If you're in a relationship, you're seeking one. If you're working for someone, or you have your own business, or you just want more magnetism in your personal relationships, in your physical body, in your health, your vitality, and in your tribe and all your relations, like you said, Sydney, this is what I've wanted and what I needed 10, 15 years ago. I needed this before, you know, I stepped into the roles I stepped into and then went through all the pain. Like, this is such important stuff, guys, and you know that this is a taboo.
Yeah.
This stuff isn't talked about. And that's what's beautiful about Sydney and I, is like our unique journeys have taken us through all 3. And we want to build the pillar with you of radical embodiment and truth through your own sexuality, your body, through your finances, your bank account, and your magnetism in life. And we're excited to deep dive with you starting November 5th. And as Sydney said, if you sign up today, if you enroll today, you get that 22-minute laser activation with one of us over the course of that program.
Who will you choose?
Yeah, choose wisely. But this is going to be such a beautiful container, and we're capping it at 44 people, Sydney.
Yeah.
44 people. We're going 44 souls. So we want you guys to be the first ones. Thank you for being on here with us. So appreciative of you. We're so blessed to be in your presence. We're so blessed to be here in this time, transmuting and becoming more magnetic in these centers.
Yeah,
So
being the leaders. I mean, I know our vision that we share is to like activate more leaders, more teachers, more like no matter what you do in your life, like I want to help you live your best life and feel your absolute best, because I know that even if it's like this group of 44, you go out and ripple into millions of people's lives. And this is how we create the more beautiful world that we all know in our hearts is possible. Like that's it. It starts with you. And would you like to be this radical leader of your own life, creating your best life in every moment, living the life that you desire, being an invitation for every single person that comes into your life to interact with you, to be an example, a model of what is possible, of what everyone knows they really want, of what they know at a deep level is possible for them too. Can you just imagine how powerful it will be for people to just experience you in your light, in your full presence, in your full magnetism? I mean, that's my highest excitement. You know, I want to create, help to activate more leaders, help to activate more of the light bearers that are here to create all the new paradigms in which we know we're here to really exist and thrive within, you know, and it can happen now. We don't have to wait. It doesn't have to be 5 years. It doesn't have to be one more year in the job that you hate, in the relationship that's draining you, and like whatever the story is. No, like you can change everything now. And I will tell you, the fastest way to do that is with support, is in community, is like if you're feeling activated, if you're feeling triggered, if you're feeling like this is a fuck yes, listen to that. Here's maybe your first invitation to listen to your desire at a deeper level than you ever have before. And maybe finally start trusting yourself to operate at the level that you know your soul is called to like fully operate at. You know, this could be the invitation for you to up level in such a massive way. Like you finally see yourself, like finally see who you are, what you're capable of. When all the like unconsciousness is let go of, you know, what is it like to be fully empowered in your energy and your radiant light?
Feel that and call it in now. I love what you said, Sydney. We don't have time to wait. It's happening now. You don't have time. I don't have time. Time is this beautiful thing that we get to paint like art, and we get to do it right now. And we laid out some very basic strategies for that and some tactics in this call. But the souls that are called to go all in and literally create this fire of transformation in your life, that's the invitation. We want to take you there. And we want to do it with this tribe, like a tribe of people. We're going to have a private Facebook group where we get to like sacredly contain this energy and hold each other accountable and call each other up and in. We're not calling up and in. We're not calling out. We're deleting shame, blame, guilt paradigms. We are anchoring the magnetic life force that is living in. And we want to do it as a group. And it's going to be...
We're going to go like, this is all the live streams, all the things that people are like, oh my God, I can't believe you talked about that. We're just scratching the surface. We are just scratching the surface, because in this space, in this intimate, intentional container that we are creating, it's like, we're going to go there. We're going to go into like the deepest shame, the deepest guilt, the deepest wound, the deepest trauma, the deepest shadow, the shit that you've probably never told anybody before in your entire life.
Right.
That stuff. The stuff that is the biggest drain on your life force, the stuff that is in the way of you feeling how you want to feel, the stuff that is in the way of you feeling safe to be fully powerful in your life. I mean, that's literally where we're going with this. Like, that's what we're holding space for. And that's what we're very, very inspired to walk you through, you know, so that at the end of the day, it's like, you'll see at the end of the day that you are your own best guide. You are your own best medicine. That's what transmutation is. We will guide you in seeing how your greatest shame is in fact the key to seeing what is your biggest light, what is your medicine, what is your power, what is that lesson that you're here to now alchemize and share and teach. You know, like, we're going to guide you through that. You're your own guide. We are going to share our experience. We're going to get so real with you and probably tell you stuff that we've also never told anybody. Like, that's about the sacred space that we're creating is about that. It's like this deep, deep trust. This is where the alchemy and the transmutation can really occur, and like totally divine guidance just emerges and helps us to all collectively heal, you know, in all the ways that we desire most. And I'm fully surrendered to that. Like, I'm ready to be such a vessel and a vehicle for something even bigger than I could even imagine, explain, enunciate. It's like, it's bigger. You feel it in your heart. I feel it in my body now that it's bigger than anything we could even define on a page, in a sentence. It's like, what we're creating is truly divine, and it is a divinely inspired invitation, and it is a massive ripple in like collective healing, in consciousness raising, in transcendence. I mean, I feel it, right? I feel it in my body.
Feel it in my body.
The best feeling, yes.
This is the work that's going to change the world.
Yes.
Ladies and gents, this is the work that's going to change the world. I want you to hear that, because all the solutions and the heady stuff is great and it's beautiful and like more tech, yeah, great. But this is the real deep stuff. It's like those lower primal centers and those deep imprints.
Yeah.
We get to release them. And here's the beautiful thing, as you're saying, Sydney, like, I'm just seeing all the families, all the relationships, all the tribes. When you do this work and you activate that magnetism and that beautiful sexual, vital, elan vital energy, you ripple out in your whole community.
Yes.
And you make other people safer by you being that light, because you're giving them permission without saying a word. Just showing up in that power is giving everyone in your relations permission to do the same.
Yeah.
So this is where it's at. We want the light leaders. We want the light warriors. We want the spiritual gangsters that want to go down and dig in to shoot up and out.
Yeah.
We're lighthouses.
Yeah, full on, all the way. New paradigm, being it, living it, sharing it, creating it, activating it fully in all parts of your life now. Full on. Yes, really feel it.
Come on.
We got some people, we got our family here with us. Are you guys feeling us? I want to get some, like, can I feel this? Okay, Amy's feeling it. Belinda's feeling it. Like, do you guys feel this activation? It's beyond the words that we're communicating. It's like there is a cellular activation happening in our physical bodies in this field that we create, in this infinite possibility. It's like we're already up level. We're already at some level working together at the soul level. We've already signed up to do this.
Right. We're doing it. It's already done. We've already won. Now it's just like, we get to do the little bits of work. We get to do those little upgrades that collectively create the massive shift. Personally first, then it's universal. So, wow. Sydney, it's been such an honor.
I love you all so much. Thank you for the opportunity to serve. And like, I receive so much in the sharing. You know, I know we both receive our own medicine through sharing. So deep gratitude to all of you in this co-creation. Thank you. And I can't wait. We're just getting started.
We're just getting started, y'all. Love you all so much. And please, if you are on the fence, I invite you to the fuck yes. Like, time. If you say the fuck yes today and enroll, you're going to get that laser session with Sydney and I, which could be the shift that changes everything.
Yeah, I'll give you my number. We can talk. Yes. Let's do it.
All right.
Beautiful, my loves. And we'll send this replay to everybody who registered, who's here, watching this now, watching it in the future. We love you. And you know how to get in touch with us if you have any questions at all. But listen, I don't think you really have any questions. Like, trust your knowing. Trust the fuck yes. Trust the fuck no. Maybe you're not ready.
Right.
But maybe you are. And like, lean into that. Like, lean into this invitation that may never come again at this moment. Like, at this moment, you may be ready for like such a massive transformation. And what's it like to lean into that and give yourself that gift? You know, like really feel into that. So can't wait to see you all soon. Again, we're just beginning. We're just starting. Listen to this again. Listen to this recording again. Like, listen to it multiple times. We gave you so much gold, and we're just barely scratching the surface of like the wisdom that wants to come through us for this activation.
That's it. That's it. The golden nuggets are laid out on the table.
Yep.
This was an appetizer. If you want to join us in the feast, we'll see you there. So.
Yep. Oh, I love you so much. Love you all. Blessings, blessings, and blessings.
Love you, fam.
Aloha, adios.
Adios.
Woo. Okay, I'm gonna say goodbye. I love you guys.
Ciao. Ciao.